fold is an interesting project basically. I think it has been a remarkable journey. And it all started from this beautiful concept of how these magnificent, beautiful origami folds evolve a space.
जब इन क्लाइंट से मुलाकात हुई थी तो उस पर्टिकुलर मोमेंट में तो when you meet the client for the first time, it seems like अच्छा हाँ ठीक है, it's not going to be that difficult. We've done so many houses and okay, just another one more house to do. Doesn't seem that tough. So, but जब हम लोग उसकी requirements में घुसे talking about this house for that matter and client की requirements देखी, सुना कितने लोग हैं, फैमिली मेम्बर्स कौन हैं, उनका उठना बैठना क्या है, उनकी इंडिविजुअल लाइफस्टाइल क्या है, रूटीन्स क्या हैं. तो जब उसकी डेप्थ में जाते हैं तो फिर वहाँ जाके एक रियलाइजेशन हुई कि भाई ये तो इज़ नॉट दैट ईजी जितना हम सोच रहे थे. इसमें तो डिफरेंट एज फैक्टर्स हैं, 3 जनरेशन हैं इसके अंदर. तो मतलब क्लाइंट हिमसेल्फ, हिम एंड हरसेल्फ, उनके पेरेंट हैं, उनकी बहन है, उनके 2 बच्चे हैं. ये तो काफ़ी ट्रिकी है, ये तो इतना आसान नहीं है. मतलब हर एक को अपनी स्पेस भी चाहिए और अपने अंदाज की स्पेस चाहिए.
When we talk about how this house operates, so it has a very unique and interesting way, and the entire coming to the house, entering into a double height lobby, then dividing it on the ground floor into 2 major spatial configurations. One where their parents are, their sisters are, and the other where the master bedroom is located. And then the common spaces which they actually enjoyed, which they really shared, was the kitchen, and the strategic location of the kitchen formulating into the overall acoustics of the space and the ambience of the space.
कोई ज़्यादा सोशलाइज करता है, कोई बिल्कुल इंट्रोवर्ट है, किसी को अपनी गार्डनिंग से शौक़ है, बच्चे अपना मस्त हैं. अब सबके गेस्ट भी आते जाते हैं बिकॉज इट्स अ कॉमन हाउस, एवरीथिंग इज़ लाइक कॉमन स्पेसेस. तो वहाँ से शुरुआत देखते हुए वी वर ट्राइंग टू फिगर आउट कि यार हाउ डू वी रियली स्टार्ट द प्रोजेक्ट. कहाँ से शुरू करें? मास्टर बेडरूम से शुरू करें, घर के फसाद से शुरू करें? व्हाट इज़ द स्टार्टिंग पॉइंट जो आई फील एवरी आर्किटेक्ट वुड बी लुकिंग फॉर व्हेन एवर दे स्टार्ट अ हाउस, राइट? एंड टॉकिंग अबाउट अ हाउस is actually quite a difficult project at the end of the day, comparing it to a commercial building or whatever, a corporate or a hospitality, because इसमें multiple users आ जाते हैं. So we really sat down as a team, we started thinking यार अच्छा okay, शुरुआत क्या है? What are those elements or needs जो common हैं, जो separate हैं? We came down to a solution कि अच्छा what, there's only one way to solve. There are multiple ways to solve it, but the one solution that we found was okay, let's talk about the common spaces जिन्होंने आपस में सारों ने यूज करनी है. अब वो छोटी छोटी या इन सारी चीज़ों को आपस में स्टिच करते हुए we started defining okay, we have the concept in mind, a part of the concept, but what are the zonings? कौन कहाँ जाएगा? किसको प्राइमरी स्पेस मिलेगी, किसको सेकेंडरी मिलेगी? अच्छा अगर जिसको सेकेंडरी मिलेगी क्या वो खुश होगा? बिकॉज वो भी सोचना है, बड़ा कोई मतलब सेंसिटिव मामला होता है ये. फिर हम उस जोनिंग के लिए देन वी एक्चुअली अगेन वेंट बैक टू द डिस्कशन मोड कि अच्छा यार सबकी रिक्वायरमेंट्स क्या हैं. क्लाइंट्स जो हैं वो आउटडोर स्पेसेस पसंद करते हैं, उनको एंटरटेन करने का शौक़ है, बट बड़े कोई कंफर्टेबल से हैं. जो घर आ रहा है ब्रीफ में था कि whoever comes in, if it's a friend or a family, they just come in the family lounge and they're very comfortable with that. But उनको privacy चाहिए. किससे? गेट से मतलब कि कौन आ जा रहा है, गार्ड्स हैं, हेल्प है, you've got multiple people roaming around. ये एक जोनिंग का एस्पेक्ट था कि इनको कहीं प्लेस करना है. देन जो वालदा हैं, वालदा इज़ ऑफ कोर्स शी इज़ एजेड, ज़्यादा मूवमेंट नहीं है, शी इज़ मोर अकेले डिफाइंड टू हर ओन स्पेस. but she's very fond of gardening. She likes to grow her own vegetables. That was like, oh, ये हम कैसे करेंगे? Gardening तो normally front पे होगी, धूप कहाँ आती है? वो एक जोनिंग के बारे में सोचा, इसके साथ सोचा कि अच्छा यार अब कहीं ना कहीं तो डिफाइन करना है जो कि उनसे भी डिटैच हो, बिकॉज क्लाइंट्स जो हैं वो एंटरटेन करते हैं. अब ऐसा तो नहीं हो सकता कि स्पेस में वो गार्डनिंग स्पेस भी आ जाए जो कि उनकी पर्सनलाइज स्पेस है. एट द सेम टाइम जो बहन है, शी इज़ फॉन्ड ऑफ व्हेन शी ओपन्स अप द कर्टन्स ऑफ हर लाउंज और फॉर दैट मैटर हर बेडरूम, she doesn't want to walk out, but she wants a lush green view because that really really enhances her mood, or that's how she likes it. So zoning mein, when we started off with the lobby itself, the lobby technically has, अगर मैं बोलूँ तो मतलब 8 दरवाजे एक तरह की openings हैं, और उसके लिए आप अगर सोचें ना कहेंगे यार कितनी बड़ी lobby चाहिए होगी. But this lobby is transited in a way that you enter into the house and you see the elevator volume, which is placed very strategically in a way कि वो lobby ज़्यादा बड़ी नहीं है, but वो एक it acts as a privacy buffer, and at the same time enables the guests to move around. I mean, I'll tell you where what the zoning floor-wise is, but then at the same time when you walk into the lobby deeper, तो आगे जाके एक्चुअली एक बड़ी सी स्पेस है. वो बड़ी सी स्पेस क्या है, वो पहले क्यों नहीं है? बिकॉज वो जो पीछे से स्पेस है वो एक्चुअली वो स्पेस है जो सबको कनेक्ट करेगी. यहाँ से वालदा के पोर्शन को, बहन के पोर्शन को, क्लाइंट्स को, फिर जो उनकी कॉमन स्पेसेस हैं, किचन है, उनका प्रेयर रूम है. और इस लॉबी के एंड पे जब मैंने सोचा तो मुझे था कि अच्छा यार लॉबी के एंड में तो एक्साइटमेंट ही नहीं है, ये तो बस एक डब्बा बन गया, बड़े से डबल हाइट बना दिया. तो देन इट क्लिक टू आस्क कि यार एक मिनट, वो जो आपको वेजिटेबल गार्डन चाहिए, मे बी दैट कैन बी स्टेशन इन अ वे कि that becomes a focal point for the lobby. The lobby gets more like it doesn't turn out to be a dead end. It gets a nice green view, but at the same time maybe then the mother's bedroom can be located in a way कि वो इस green pocket के साथ view ले सकें जहाँ से उनकी privacy भी tagged रहती है, और she can very easily while saying her prayers or sitting in her room in her own comfort, she can tell the gardener कि भाई मेरी सब्जी को ऐसे भी ऐसे कर लो. The plan, the concepts drove us that the grease, the hot kitchen actually has to exit onto the porch. Which now when we think about it, it works pretty well because that is where the staff is going to be sitting. That is where normally this is the door which is compromised in other aspects. So a perfect stitch like a linear thing. You get the kitchen, you get the pantry, and you get the grease. अब इसी के साथ फिर लॉबी का जो हमने अभी बात मैंने बताई कि वो ग्रीन गार्डन विच इज़ अ पार्ट ऑफ द लॉबी एंड इट्स पार्ट ऑफ द मदर्स बेडरूम. तो द मदर्स शॉर्टेस्ट डिस्टेंस केम राइट इन अलाइनमेंट टू द किचन, एंड फ्रॉम देयर थ्रू अ hallway we connected the other space for the sister, where she has her own suite and she has her own lush green garden, which is not, you can't walk out, but it's so dense. It gives that privacy to her from the porch, but at the same time fulfills her need of having those big plants and just green and everything there. So what happened was कि जब ये इतनी चीज़ें जब सोची तो automatically the zone that was left was actually the left one, जहाँ पे the clients actually got to their family lounge, and through the family lounge we connected the master bedroom. So it was like a jigsaw puzzle that started solving automatically. I mean that's how we think. Or if I'm not able to really explain it, but for me it's more like अच्छा डब्बे जुड़ते जा रहे हैं और क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग साथ साथ होती जा रही है. अब उसमें जो खूबसूरती थी कि वो लाउंज ऐसा प्लेस हुआ कि इट्स अ लीनियर स्पेस, इट हैज़ 2 doors. एक आपकी लॉबी सेंटर के साथ आ जाता है और एक वो पीछे लॉबी में चला जाता है. तो वालदा से डिस्टेंस बेटे का, बेटा बेटी का, सारों का, वो बड़ा I'd say बड़ा वो कंफर्टेबल निकल आया. और फिर इसी के थ्रू इफ़ यू वुड रियली लुक एट इन प्लान, तो शायद फैमिली लाउंज से डायरेक्टली एंटरिंग टू द मास्टर बेडरूम माइट सीम वेरी ऑड टू अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल, But to this client, it actually turned out to be perfect for them because it was like a suite. अच्छा deck भी है, यहाँ से master bedroom भी है, so it really worked out really well.
Regarding the spatial planning and how we conceived the project, I think हमारे practice में Ahmed Amin starts off laying those entire ideas on the paper, and then those beautiful design development where Ahmed Waleed comes in and down to even looking into details. So I mean, and then all those group discussions, those design workshops. I think spatial configuration में उसी चीज़ को ज़हन में रखते हुए we've been able to pull off the spaces with all those ideas that we really had in mind to bring in what the client wanted on the table. So regarding the spatial configuration, it has been a remarkable journey. A lot of discussions, a lot of arguments, and eventually seeing the optimal spaces that we envisioned are now there, and we can actually walk through them. वो कहते हैं ना कि अब painting is a form of art that you see, sculpture is a form of art that you walk around, and architecture is a form of art that you can walk through. So in order to make that successful, and the piece that you saw that is standing here, usme I think it's always a teamwork, and how you as a designer, you as a consultant collaborate with your vendors, your suppliers, और किस तरह आप उनके साथ अपना विजन जो है, the things that you really want, आप उनको बताते हैं, you keep on making those mock-ups and you keep on trying, and then one fine day you're able to achieve it. So I think ये collaboration has been a very successful part whilst this entire architecture और इसकी construction was going on, जिसमें meticulously हर detail को from the marble to the ceilings to the lightings to the ironmongery, everything was thought about, and then all these collaborators with us made it possible.
So when this project came by Arkmett, and we discussed the plan with the client, and they had a look at the showroom and the kitchen they like and the concepts. So the challenge was that the kitchen they selected was pretty big at showroom, and we had a limitation in space. So what we suggested in this project, like why don't we take some space from the laundry store area and add into this kitchen, and it really helped. Second, what we did, because the client wanted to have more light coming in in the kitchen, so what we suggested to, why don't we create a bigger window and take it up to ceiling instead of keeping a typical windows size. And this is what we did. And then the client had a requirement because they eat in their kitchen, in their lifestyle. So we wanted to create, instead of just giving them a table, we wanted to create an island, but not a cooking island, because normally the cooking done in the hot kitchen. So what we did, we created a space for to dining, plus we created like an island, like a buffet counter. It really helped, and it turned out nice for the space. And plus we suggested to create suspended units, and so the kitchen looks more bigger in that, so we added the lights in that.
Assalamu alaikum, my name is Hassan Shah. I am CEO of HVerse. We are dealing into different products like tiles, sanitary ware, elevators, automation and many more. So the brief I get from Arkmett was that they wanted something very minimalism for tiles and sanitary ware, और उसके अंदर भी they wanted exclusivity. So what they did, they said कि we don't want to go with different tiles into different washrooms. They selected like 2 pallets and they replicate those tiles into different washrooms with a different layout. और उसके अलावा इन्होंने ये कहा कि यार हमें आपके शोरूम से टाइल्स नहीं चाहिए क्योंकि दे वांट टू मेंटेन सम एक्सक्लूसिविटी फॉर दैट प्रोजेक्ट। तो इन्होंने कैटलॉग में से टाइल्स को सिलेक्ट किया और हमने ये टाइल्स स्पेसिफिकली इनके लिए इंपोर्ट की इटली से, और फ्रॉम ए वेरी फेमस ब्रांड आयरस एंड फोंडा वाले, जिसके वी हैव एक्सक्लूसिव राइट्स इन पाकिस्तान। I love the whole project, but I think the powder room tiles are fabulous. The decor especially, I just love it.
Okay, so there's a kitchen in the basement, and it's located right next to the formal dining area, meaning a lot of work related to food is going to happen there. There was already a dumbwaiter included there. We SMC Living had to figure out how it's going to remain functional, how food is going to be transported conveniently during events and whenever the formal dining area is in use. So with such limited space, thanks to our expertise, we created into a tiny kitchen instead of just letting it be storage. Like it has a little stove, a mini fridge, a single sink, and it became a really convenient and functional place where food can be, and with cutlery, can be sent along downstairs whenever needed, and it can be stored away easily just by warming up food in a few minutes. It can be sent up and down wherever they need it. That's what we came up with.
And the other thing, the client and Arkmett, Ahmed, they wanted to keep a very neutral color palette. So we decided for the whole house to keep same color palette in all the kitchens. So it gives more like a monolith feel to the space. Even this is what we did even on the first floor kitchen, like where we're sitting now, because it was part of the lounge, as you can see. So we suggested, why don't we make this like a entertaining space instead of giving a typical kitchen look. So that's why we kept no cabinets on the wall. We only gave some shelves here, and even the hood we chose, it's like some design element. It does not look like a typical cooking. What we did, because they needed more space, so we suggested to keep those cabinets on the side so they don't compromise on the storage as well. And plus we added some glass units just to, and then we wanted to make it bling effect, so we added this smeg red, iconic fridge. It has a lot of value now, plus we added some small appliances.
कहानियाँ ख़त्म नहीं होती बाय द वे, मतलब इट्स नॉट जस्ट अबाउट कि हमने नक्शा बना लिया, स्पेसेस डिफाइन कर ली, स्टिच कर लिया, सारे खुश हो गए. नो, द एक्चुअल जर्नी कम्स आफ्टर वंस यू हैव डेवलप्ड द कॉन्सेप्ट कि अच्छा डिटेलिंग क्या होनी है. एज एन आर्किटेक्ट एक ठरक होती है कि अच्छा यार, यू नो व्हाट, we want to build a house which is actually different from what we've already done, or try new methodologies for that matter. This client again luckily was open to putting up nice marble, having tall doors and tall windows, so that really gave us that free hand again कि अच्छा, you know what, wow यार, ये तो dream project बनता जा रहा है, कुछ भी कर सकते हैं. So but again I would say कहानी फिर भी यहाँ पे ख़त्म नहीं होती, बिकॉज इट्स नॉट अबाउट कि आपने मार्बल लिया, मार्बल लगा दिया. मार्बल सेलेक्ट करना है, आपने जाके चुनना है कि यार वेन्स कैसी हैं, आपकी स्पेस के हिसाब से कैसा है, कलर टोन्स कैसी हैं, बिकॉज यू नीड टू डिसाइड ऑल ऑफ दोज थिंग्स. तो इस घर में मार्बल की सिलेक्शन से लेके, दरवाज़ों के डिज़ाइन की डिटेलिंग से लेके, चौकाटों की, यू विल नोटिस कि लिंटल्स नहीं है घर में, सीलिंग पूरी फ्लो इन करती है. इफ़ यू ओपन द डोर, एनी डोर, you will see the ceiling just flow into that space, just like the floor itself. Why? Because the spaces, as per the brief, was to कि spaces बड़ी नहीं बनानी, property बड़ी है तो बड़े कमरे नहीं बनाने. But how do we really make them feel big? taller windows, taller doors. But then again, how about we use materials in a way कि वो भी कुछ एक अपना role play कर जाए. You'll notice that the marble, the Carrara marble, the way we've used it, उसकी एक वंड निकाली गई, यहाँ पे पहले उसको लगाने से पहले पूरा lay down किया गया, उसकी veins को explore किया गया, direction क्या है, वो करने के बाद, you know, then it was कि अच्छा bedrooms में जो floor जाना है, that should be, of course, that can't be marble because that's not that comfortable. It needs to be a material that is, आप in the middle of the night भी बिस्तर से उठें तो आपके, you know, you can just easily walk on it rather than feeling, oh, फर्श ठंडा है, oh, ये है, वो है, slip ना हो जाए. So we wanted to put engineered wooden floor, and that actually gave us the flexibility, you know what, just like the ceiling, what would it be like if we are able to take the same marble tone and match it with our wooden floor. So that जी इस आइडिया से, इस कॉन्सेप्ट से वो वाकई ऐसा टर्न आउट किया कि इवन इफ यू ओपन द डोर टू द बेडरूम, इट जस्ट फील्स एक वो कंटिन्यूस पार्ट आपको उसमें दिखता है. मटेरियल चेंज हो जाता है बट कलर चेंज होता है. बट इसके पीछे भी एक मसला था, जब आप मटेरियल चेंज करते हैं तो उसकी एंडिंग और दूसरे की स्टार्ट में क्या करना है. So then we kept thinking for R&D, you know, testing, sampling. So then we came up with the idea, okay, let's use brass strips only in the doorways. That actually gave us the flexibility of ending a detail, giving a dehlize, and then जहाँ से हमारा wooden floor शुरू होता है तो वो perfect एक minor detail आती है, which अब वो छोटी details is what we feel as architects, as Arkmett, कि खूबसूरती उन छोटी डिटेलों के अंदर है, बड़ी चीज़ों में नहीं है. वो लार्ज फॉर्मेट लगा दिया तो खूबसूरत हो गया. बाथरूम्स को अगर आप नोटिस करेंगे, ऊपर के बाथरूम में टाइल एक्चुअली 4 फुट बाय 4 फुट की है. बट हाउ डू वी मेक इट लुक टॉल? देन वी यूज द ट्रिम्स को प्रोमिनेंट किया, गैप्स को कम किया और मैटली स्टार्ट लुकिंग बिगर. इफ यू लुक एट द डोर्स के पीछे, वुड के पीछे भी एक, एज आर्किटेक्ट्स, एज क्लाइंट्स, वी वांटेड टू डू ब्लैक डोर्स. जो पैलेट डिसाइड हो रहा था, बड़ा मोनोक्रोमैटिक, जो किचन में भी जा रहा है, जो फ्लोर में भी आ रहा है, सीलिंग्स में भी जा रहा है. तो लकड़ी के पीछे इट्स नॉट जस्ट अबाउट कि आपने बस वुड सेलेक्ट कर ली तो जी बस आपको काला पॉलिश कर दें एंड इट्स टर्न आउट नाइस. नो, यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड वुड. इफ यू कांट जस्ट टर्न वुड ब्लैक. सो देन वी सैट डाउन विद द वुड सप्लायर एंड द सेम द कारपेंटर एंड द पॉलिश पीपल कि यार लकड़ी कौन सी यूज़ करनी है. मौसम के मसले भी हैं, ये भी है, वो भी है. तो वो एक लकड़ी डिफाइन हुई, सुपाली, दैट मैटर. तो उसको सुपाली जब सैम्पलिंग की, ब्लैक किया तो ये तो ग्रेन्स गायब हो गए. ओ अब क्या करना है? तो देन द पॉलिश गाय रिकमेंडेड, यू नो व्हाट, हम इसको फर्दर ब्रश करते हैं, लेट्स उभारते हैं उसकी वेन्स को. तो वो लेयर बाय लेयर प्रोसेस में काफ़ी एक टाइम लगता है, इन चीज़ों में टाइम लगता है. बट वो जो प्रोडक्ट एंड में निकल रहा होता है उसमें सारे ही एक एक्साइटमेंट और एक खुशी में चल रहे होते हैं. Client was like fully involved in the same time. Furniture selections, आपकी curtain selections, it was a complete collaboration with everybody. It wasn't in isolation. You know, जब furniture हो रहा था, we had the curtain team, the decor team, we also had the light team on board. कि अच्छा यार, हम ये चीज़ envision कर रहे हैं, product रखना है, lighting क्या होगी? क्योंकि light color temperature change कर देती है. और आप एक space में multiple करेंगे तो change हो जाता है. So it's been a great journey by far, you know. मतलब कहूँगा चीज़ें बताने को बहुत हैं बट कितना ही बंदा बता सकता है. There's a lot to talk about, like this floating wall right behind here. इसके पीछे भी मल्टीपल सैम्पलिंग थी. अच्छा, इसकी टर्मिनेशन नीचे सीलिंग पे, नीचे स्कर्टिंग पे आके क्या होगी, स्कर्टिंग की अपनी डिटेल थी कि शैम्फर करना है, फ्लैट रखते हैं तो डस्ट आती है, शैम्फर करेंगे तो डस्ट इकट्ठी नहीं होगी. So it's been a back and forth process, and this is what we really enjoy doing, and I think this is what really brings out a product altogether.
Okay, so the volumes, when you look at them from the outside, because they've been derived from the spaces that were laid out on the inside, the lobby is this is essentially this huge box that you see is the center of the house, and it's a volume that holds everything in place. Similarly, if you look at like everything else around the spaces, we have multiple fins, and those fins are creating openings and pockets that are framing views from the inside to the outside. And similarly, also not just horizontally but also vertically, it's framing sunkans that we have in the basement. Okay, so the way that the basement was designed was keeping in mind that we wanted to keep the space a very private, secluded space from the residents. And there's a reason why we took the drawing and the dining there. So it basically becomes the entertainment wing. The strategic placement of two different sunkans on both sides acted as light wells, ventilation wells. There was there's a possibility of a cross between these spaces, which honestly doesn't make it seem like it's a space. Conventionally, a drawing room and a dining is something that comes on the ground floor, but by doing this, we were able to create the same feel that people are sitting, if people are sitting in the basement, they don't necessarily feel like they're sitting underground. It's well lit, it's well ventilated, and yeah.
I'd say SMC Living stands out from other vendors because our entire process is very meticulous. When the architect first provides us with the details, through things like site visits, we make sure we conjure up a really detailed pitch, and only then do we present it to our clients. Once they approve, the process starts, the construction starts, and we're constantly running quality checks by sending teams and visiting and picking any project inside the house and making sure everything is up to par and how we want it. And our teams are always there to remind the clients of any detail they might be overlooking. If there's personal preference that they would need but they don't realize can be changed. And we're always reminding them of upcoming trends, because we always try to make sure we're staying innovative. We're not repeating what everyone else is doing and what has been making. We're trying to bring in projects from all over the world, new innovative technologies that are being developed. But despite all that, everything is locally manufactured, so it's convenient all the way around.
Okay, so our process as a firm at Arkmett, whenever we sit down with a new project, usually what happens is the process is very linear. You take it step by step. There's a client brief. We start debriefing it. We discuss it. But in our case, we've also realized that idea and that philosophy is continuously evolving. So from that linear process of starting at point A and landing at B, we realized that every house is different. And we like creating bespoke architecture. We like personalizing our design a lot. We like micro designing everything. So in order for us to do that, where there are multiple disciplines that come into play within the huge discipline of architecture. For example, materiality and light is a huge discipline in its own, and it requires a lot of time. So in our case, what we do is we start dovetailing that from the very beginning. We don't like taking it one step at a time, because once you're working on something, you're designing it in detail in isolation from all of these other disciplines, then it becomes something that maybe doesn't fit in with the overall idea of what that house is, or maybe the overall vision of what we want that space to become. In our case, in the case of the Fold, it was a great culmination of this ideology. What we were able to do with the Fold is a great example of it not being a linear process. There were multiple things that we were considering. Once we reached the process where we designed the concept of the house, Then we started looking at it on multiple different, like from 2D to 3D. We started designing it from the inside out. How do these spaces actually, the connection disconnection that I was speaking about, how does that actually come together? What interaction will take place between the users and what interaction can be controlled?
Well, if we really talk about the most cherishable moments, I think मेरे लिए, Ahmed Amin के लिए, Ahmed Waleed के लिए, the entire process of setting it up, down to the first brick that was laid, to the papers that we were working on, this entire process has been remarkable and has been fun. ज़िंदगी में आप सीखना तो कभी ख़त्म हो ही नहीं सकता आपका, and for us I think it has always been a learning curve. और जो सबसे मज़ेदार बात थी कि जैसे मैंने कहा कि टीम वर्क इज़ वेरी वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट इन गेटिंग इट डन, and even your client is the biggest team player in all of this. Whatever we envision, talking to them, वो ideas का exchange, putting in those nights and putting in those days. I mean, spaces तो अपनी अपनी personal preference हैं. I love the space where I'm sitting actually. और यही वो point था जहाँ पे हम बैठकर बहुत शुरू में भी और बाद में भी we would have discussions on different materials, what to bring in. So I think every moment of this entire process of bringing the fold to the end, to the point where the client moved in, has been a remarkable journey and has been a learning journey for all of us. One of the things that I'm really happy about working as a team member of the Arkmett is that over the years we've developed our design ethos of bringing in that sensitivity to material, to the overall space in terms of laying it out, in terms of furniture. And we really try to keep it very subtle, subdued, very monochromatic, so that every person in the space becomes part of it, shines within the space, और एक बड़े अच्छे तरीके से, nothing which is very very heavy to look at, some things which are timeless, which are very pleasant to look at. And this is what our design basically comprehends and dictates.
I think इस पूरे प्रोजेक्ट की आर्कमेट के लिए जो एक अचीवमेंट बनी है, that is कि this house after getting completed is actually turned out exactly how it was envisioned on the very first draft. As architects, I think this is a big achievement, and इसमें client का बहुत major role play होता है, कि वो आप उस free hand दिया, trust किया throughout the process, and उसमें there have been times जब हम रातों को late मिल रहे हैं, रात nursery जा रहे हैं, प्लांट सेलेक्ट करने के लिए, मटेरियल सेलेक्ट करने के लिए, लाइटिंग देखने के लिए, वो जो क्लाइंट की एक एक्साइटमेंट होती है, you actually you should flow in the same excitement and likewise the other way around. So this is a perfect combination of the दोनों के roles play होते हैं, तब जाके एक product निकलता है, and it's turned out really nice, and it's turned out exactly how we really wanted it to be. और eventually वो relationship जो initially शुरू होती है अभी client, architect, consultant की, वो alhamdulillah it's turned out to be more of friends. We're just hanging around here over the weekends, watching movies, laughing, remembering the old stories, and what hurdles we went through. Alhamdulillah, it's been a wonderful journey for us.